Police officers. Has a suspect ever asked, do you know who I am? I've been working patrol in a mid-sized college town in Michigan for about 6 years now. Most of my shifts are pretty standard. Noise complaints from frat houses, drunk students stumbling home from bars, occasionally breaking up fights outside pizza joints at 2 in the morning. Nothing that prepares you for the kind of entitlement I encountered last September. It was a Friday night around 1:30 in the morning, and I was driving through the downtown area when I noticed this silver Audi sedan blow through a red light at the main intersection. Not even close to yellow. Straight up ran a red light with cross traffic waiting. I flipped on my lights and pulled the car over in a grocery store parking lot. The driver was a young woman, maybe 23, wearing designer clothes and enough jewelry that I could see it sparkling even in the dark. Before I could even get to her window, she rolled it down and immediately started talking. Officer, I'm in a huge hurry. Can we make this quick? Standard opening for me. License, registration, and insurance, please. Do you know why I pulled you over? She rolled her eyes dramatically while digging through an expensive-looking purse. I might have gone through that light a little early, but there was nobody coming. It's not a big deal. A little early. Ma'am, that light was red for at least 3 seconds before you entered the intersection. Have you been drinking tonight? That's when her whole demeanor changed. She looked at me like I just asked the dumbest question in the world. Do you have any idea who I am? I'm Madison Westbrook. My father is Dean Westbrook, the university president. One phone call and you'll be directing traffic at elementary schools for the rest of your career. Now she wasn't bluffing about her dad. Dean Westbrook had been running the university for almost a decade. He sat on the city council, knew the mayor personally, and donated heavily to local political campaigns. Half the roads in town had buildings named after his family. I kept my voice professional. Ma'am, I still need to see your license and registration. Whether or not you know important people doesn't change traffic laws. She thrust her license at me like she was swatting a fly. This is such a waste of my time. I have a charity gala to get to. Do you know how much money my family donates to this city? More than you'll make in your entire life. While I was running her information, I noticed she kept fidgeting with her phone, typing frantically. When I came back to her window, I could smell alcohol on her breath. Faint, but definitely there. Have you had anything to drink this evening? She laughed. I had 1 glass of wine at dinner like 3 hours ago. I'm completely fine. Are we done here? I'm going to need you to step out of the vehicle and perform a field sobriety test. That's when she absolutely lost it. She started screaming about harassment, discrimination, how I was targeting her because of who her family was. She refused to get out of the car, so I called for backup. My partner, Officer Chen, arrived about 5 minutes later. The whole time, Madison was on her phone, presumably calling her father, saying things like, some cop is harassing me and can you call someone and fix this? We eventually got her out of the car and administered the sobriety test. She failed spectacularly, couldn't walk a straight line, couldn't balance on 1 foot, and when we finally got her to agree to a breathalyzer, she blew a .09, just over the legal limit. The entire arrest, she kept screaming about lawsuits, about how her father would have our badges, about how we were making the biggest mistake of our careers. I made absolutely certain that my body camera was recording everything, every threat, every refusal to comply, every slurred word. At the station, she refused to cooperate with booking, demanded to speak to the police chief immediately, and threatened everyone within earshot. It took 4 hours to process her because she kept calling lawyers and demanding special treatment. 3 days later, I got called into a meeting with the police chief and the city attorney. Apparently, Dean Westbrook had filed a formal complaint against me and Officer Chen, claiming we'd used excessive force, violated his daughter's rights, and targeted her because of her family name. He was demanding we be suspended and the charges against Madison be dropped. My chief looked exhausted. Rodriguez, I've got the mayor calling me, city council members calling me, and donors threatening to pull funding from community programs. This is turning into a political nightmare. I stayed calm. Chief, everything is on my body cam. Every procedure was followed exactly by the book. She was over the legal limit, she ran a red light, and she refused to comply with lawful orders. The city attorney reviewed all the footage over the next week. Madison's lawyers tried to argue that the breathalyzer was faulty, that I'd provoked her, that the whole thing was entrapment. But the video didn't lie. It showed a drunk driver who'd endangered others, refused to take responsibility, and tried to use her family connections to avoid consequences. The local newspaper got wind of the story, and suddenly it became this huge scandal about privilege and accountability. Student groups started protesting outside the dean's office, demanding that Madison face the same consequences any other student would. Faculty members wrote open letters questioning whether the Westbrook family should have so much influence over city affairs. Eventually, the pressure became too much. Dean Westbrook withdrew his complaint, and Madison pleaded guilty to DUI in exchange for a reduced sentence. She got 6 months probation, community service, mandatory alcohol education, and lost her license for a year.